right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Evolve Digital Office Hours. I'm Emma, and I'm joined here with Matt. We are excited to dive into some questions, but before we get started, a couple housekeeping notes. You're either seeing us through YouTube or through Teams. If you're on YouTube, you're welcome to drop questions in the chat there. We're able to see those here in our studio. Or if you're in Teams, you can also drop questions in the chat. And if you want to expand a little bit more on your question, we can take you off mute and we'll actually be able to talk to you a little bit. Outside of that, I just want to say thanks again for joining us. The gist of today is to really answer any questions you have regarding any challenges you're facing in your organization. It could be anything from technical questions all the way to just more strategic questions on any type of technology or strategy front.
Yep.
Honestly, nothing's off the table.
Yep.
So we encourage you to just ask questions about what you've got going on. We actually have a couple topics that we might dive into if we're light on questions as well. A few new features within the Microsoft Suite that we might want to talk about. So let's get started. We've actually got a few questions here to kick us off. So I'm going to read it out. This one comes from our YouTube chat. And this person asks, I'm curious how you draw the line between chats versus channels when having a discussion about an ongoing technical issue within a project. There might be dozens of messages, so it gets hard to read replies. I want to document the discussion for later use, but the chat files could be lost in each user's OneDrive.
Yeah, so
really good question.
It's a really, really good question. I don't know that we're going to be able to give you a specific tactical answer, but we can give you a little bit of the things to think about. So chats, as you talked about, it's personal, it's individual, and so things are stored in OneDrive. Even your messaging, so the things that go back and forth, is stored in your Outlook. So it is personal in nature, which is not a great way to deal with project level information or discussions. So assuming that you're talking about a technical issue within a project, which is what you kind of talk about, a channel is 100% what I would use, not a chat. Pretty much exclusively, I would almost never, ever use a chat for discussions about a project. Even if it's about a quick message between two people on a project, me personally, this is my personal approach, I would always do that in a channel.
And I can attest that Matt really does live by this. I feel like we have had just conversations just between the two of us that need to happen on a project, but you do that in a channel.
Yeah.
Not in a DM. Yeah.
And for me, or the challenges that creates for people is a couple things. You talk about, there might be dozens of messages and it gets hard to reply and manage. Channel posts are threaded, and so you need to use those threads. And you need to be thinking about how you're tagging people, right? The reason those things are really important is because if you are not using them properly, you can get into a situation where people are like, I'm on this project, I need to monitor everything about this channel, all the channels on every team, because otherwise I don't get notified. Well, the reason that's happening is because people aren't tagging people appropriately, right? When you write something into a channel and don't at the channel or at a team member or at a tag, if you will, because you can now at tags, so you can tag people and say, hey, I want the support people as an example. When you don't do that, what that means is there's no priority. There's no person that this is going to. There's no, I have no expectation for someone to actually respond to it. If you're trying to have a conversation with a person on a particular topic within a channel, you need to be tagging them on that. And by doing that, you create an urgency from the fact that Teams doesn't do a great job of doing notifications by default. It's probably my biggest complaint about it, is that it's not clear to people what they should be doing or how they should be doing it. And that is a problem. So it's not perfect. You're comment about Slack. I would say Slack is great when you have a small number of groups and a small number of collaboration. Where Slack, in my opinion, fails miserably is that it's not threaded by default. And when you have, 500
Sure.
channels,
That gets
or
out of
or
control
we
quickly.
work with a particular customer, for example, and there's 5 projects, but those are all at the same level as every other project I have, which is why Slack has their enterprise grid subscription, which allows you to have multiple Slack workspaces. But then that creates I don't believe there's a perfect solution. The interface for Slack is way less cumbersome, and they don't have as much other stuff that they're doing, which can be a pro and a con. But to answer, to say specifically for this, in Teams, what you're doing, using a team and a channel is the best way to go about it. The challenge becomes figuring out how to communicate with everyone, how they should have their settings set up, the methodology that you want to use, and then creating the structure that works for you. That's the big challenge.
Yeah, and we're hearing that echoed in comments over here on Teams too, of just the key is really finding a way your team can work best and adapt that isn't a burden. Completely agree with that. We're having tech difficulties. 1 second.
Oh, we're having
Okay.
issues with YouTube.
Oh, shoot.
Streaming smoothly, so I might restart it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We should restart on YouTube. Okay.
I'm gonna drop the Teams link.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to drop the Teams link in YouTube so that if you want to join Teams, you can. We're apparently having some problems with streaming for YouTube, and we're going to probably restart it, so you may lose us for a minute. We will be back. There was the question from YouTube. There's a follow-on to it, which I'll probably wait until we maybe get some further progress towards that. I guess the other thing is, this problem that we're identifying is not unique in any way to anything. It's simply different in these other tools. Some people on Teams are talking about, Discord's awful, Slack is better. Teams, they all, if you take it all the way back to email, and if you take it all the way back to inboxes that sat on people's desks, it's a problem. Like, no matter what you do, it is a problem, right? To have the right balance of allowing people to be aware of what's going on, but not overwhelming them with too much stuff. It's a challenge. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I wish there was an easier response. Maybe we can.
I wish there
invent
was
that.
I wish there was a better out of the box thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like something, because there is never going to be a solution across
That's
the board.
going to work
but-
for every single size
But
company
I wish
and
the
every single
default
team.
worked
Yeah.
better, which is a whole thing with Microsoft in particular that is a huge frustration for me. Is the
Right.
approach the I would honestly chat messages dramatically at points in time. If you're a person I would basically disable anything that doesn't tag me directly. If you're a person tag me directly, I might have. I would honestly change dramatically everything. If you're a person that's going to do that, important. I would everything else. I would turn it all back. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatic my settings. If you're a person that's going to do so many different, I would honestly change things dramatic settings. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. There's no way. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly go to one location dramatically with all of the notifications. If you're a person that's going to do that multiple times, I would honestly change multiple dramatically with multiple. If you're a person that's going to do that, so that's honestly just me. For most end users, if you're a person that's going to do that today, I would honestly change dramatically with. As if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. You should be tagging if you're a person that's going to do that, and I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you haven't, if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change that. Hey, dramatically, I need you to look at this. If you're a person that's going to do that, you shouldn't have an expectation that they're going to automatically respond. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly that they're going to respond dramatically quickly. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatic audio. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically.
Go to the Teams
If
meeting,
you're a
go to
person
the
that's going
link.
to do that, I would honestly
sign
change
language.
dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that,
Great comments
I
this
would
year
honestly
from
change
Tanya and Satya.
dramatically.
I
If
wish
you're you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. Probably the if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. For me, it's if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically the message. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. But honestly, if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change sometimes dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, but definitely I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, so I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. This is if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change it to you dramatically to be. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically to. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. You should trust. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change it dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. Like, if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly better for a business dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, and a lot of I would honestly change is dramatically understanding. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change when they dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change orders dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change. I assume dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change a lot of times with that. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change process management. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would have a workflow that requires you to do. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. But if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically, resolve that. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatic benefits. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically the business. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically the piece of information. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do value to that, I would honestly change dramatically. I don't know if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly. It all comes down to that automatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If it's important, if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change it dramatically. I can tell you how if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change it dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change. If anybody's interested in it, if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically to notify them. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically that's doing what. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly depending on how many of these dramatically, if you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change. Dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you know a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. I would want to if you're a person that's going to do that, so I would honestly change, hey, dramatically, I'm interested in what's going on with a person that's going to do that. Here's a report. I would honestly change once a month or once a week saying, hey, if you're a person that's going to do that, I would 100% that's what you should dramatically. The real question is, why did they do that? I would honestly change dramatically. Are they if you're a person that's going to do that, and is there a better way to accomplish that dramatically? Maybe they were like us. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change, and they were dramatically just sending out emails. If you're a person that's going to do that, right? I would honestly change, and the value is, if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change with a new dramatically. When something was coming, if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change, right? Dramatically. That's the business. If you're a person that's going to do that, newsletter, I would honestly change to solve dramatically. And maybe that's just if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change when it matters to be done. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly... No, you're perfect. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. Makes sense. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would really change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, your ideal is I would honestly change dramatically with customers. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. And if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change. Maybe I do need dramatically messages to that. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically. Maybe there is a person that's going to do that where I would honestly change a lot dramatically. For a large enough, if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change. But you have to justify it. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would want to have one place, and the reason want that is so that if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change information dramatically. The other thing I would say is that if you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically details about the. If you're a person that's going to do that, what I would honestly change dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change the newsletter. If you're a person that's going to do that, worst case, I would honestly newsletter with links dramatically. If you're a person that's going to do that, I would honestly change dramatically to make transition. If you're a person that's going to do that, newsletter, I would honestly change. They send the newsletters though. If you're